Evening, everyone. Welcome to this special council meeting for Tuesday, May 15th, 2012. If you would please stand for the Lord's Prayer and pledge. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, council, and good evening to our audience. We have only one agenda item tonight, so I would like to ask the council for permission.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do a roll call.
Hodges.
Here.
Henderson. Here. Lee. Here. Backus. Here. Berry. Here. Jones. Here. And Kellums.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. I would like to ask the council for permission to suspend the normal meeting procedures, as we have only one item on the agenda tonight, and I would entertain a motion to do so.
I'd so move.
Okay, motion by Councilman Hodges to suspend the normal procedures. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Berry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. The purpose of this meeting is to bring you up to speed on some recent developments. First of all, I want to thank the council and you, the public, for attending this special council meeting tonight. As many of you know, over the past few weeks, we have assembled the council and the Redevelopment Commission in executive session. As a matter of fact, we have had 4 executive sessions. These sessions were held to disseminate information to the council and commission with regard to a possible industrial prospect for the Madison area. Keeping in mind that we were and are still under confidentiality restraints, I believed it was time to give you, the public, some of this information. On or about March 27th, I was informed by Corey Murphy that he had been contacted by a member of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation and was asked to be prepared to conduct a site visit by an unknown confidential industrial prospect. On Thursday, March 29th, I, along with Corey, the IEDC representative, and the prospect, toured the new industrial park, looked at the former Robus building and the former roadway facility. We were able to learn that the client was California-based, her intended product was of a renewable energy nature, and she intended on visiting other area communities in our region over the next few days. How many sites and where they were located were not disclosed to us. We also learned that her interest in Indiana, and particularly Southeast Indiana, came from a plant that had located in our area. The client's company wanted to be at a location proximate to them, but not in the same community, as they had a projected partnership in some areas. Corey, the IEDC rep, and I all felt she had been impressed with her visit to Madison and had positive feelings toward our community. On Saturday, March 31st, the client returned to Madison and had a breakfast meeting with Corey and the IEDC rep for further discussions. At that point, I sensed that Madison would be her primary focus for plant location. Immediately, Corey submitted a grant application to the Lawrenceburg Regional Economic Development Program to seek a $1 million grant for the client. Without hesitation, the grant quickly went to the Lawrenceburg Grant Committee and was approved as an action grant and submitted to the Lawrenceburg Common Council. The grant was approved by the council on May 7th. Also, the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs invited an application for a $500,000 grant for equipment without hesitation. The IEDC approved a $1.5 million incentive for tax credits and training. As we were working to set up these grants and incentives, the due diligence process on the client was also being made, as well as putting forth the local package offered to the client and working on a financial plan to pay for the offer. All through this period, we kept in close contact with the client via conference calls and emails. She commented on several occasions how impressed she was with the speed that we were working on this. Even though we were not competing with another city at that time for the location of the business, we knew we were competing with the incentive package that had been provided to other green energy companies in the area. From that, we proposed a local incentive package to supplement the other grants that we felt would minimize the financial risk to the city of Madison. We did feel at that time a bond issue might be required to partially pay for the offer, which would be required to have a building constructed in our industrial park that would be leased back to the client on terms favorable to both the client and the city. It was at this point I believed it appropriate and necessary to inform both the Common Council and the Redevelopment Commission members of the prospect and provide as much information as possible. We have had 4 executive sessions. We have shared with the council everything we have learned. We have listened to the council concerns and have attempted to continue to do our due diligence toward their requests and suggestions. We have visited the renewable energy facility in our area, and we believe, found ways to avoid a bond issue. We have spoken multiple times with the client, and we have shared the information we have received from her. The council has had the opportunity to call, to speak with her directly as well. I have done this as open as I possibly could, and I have done this in that manner because we are all in this together. It is a decision we must make together. Are there risks involved? Certainly. Are there potential consequences? Regardless of what we decide, of course. Will there be criticism by some members of our community no matter what direction we take? Without question. But such is the nature of this process. I might mention that Jeff Finkel, the president of the International Economic Development Council, brought here recently by Advanced Madison, stated that renewable energy is one of the top 4 growth sectors in the U.S. By taking the safe road and not approving this venture, we might not only be sacrificing the opportunity for jobs for our citizens, but we may jeopardize future opportunities by gaining a reputation as a community that is not really interested in economic development. By taking the other road, we may find that we end up with a vacant building and the embarrassment of having a struggling or failed business. But we will also take the chance that we will provide jobs for our citizens and perhaps attract other ventures as well. For a number of years, we have all heard the complaints from Madisonians that our youth continue to leave our area because we do not have good paying jobs to keep them here. We have spent many years and millions of dollars preparing for an opportunity. Do we pass on this venture and hope that another less risky enterprise appears? Without further action in the near future, we will no longer need to continue this process. It has been made quite clear that the client will go to her plan B and work with another nearby community to locate her business if we delay much longer. So this is the time of decision. Do we take the path to continue or do we stop? The decision is ours. If we decide to continue, then this is the process that will be required to proceed. First, the members of the City Council will need to pass a resolution that will transfer 6 acres of land from the approximately 63 acres of land in our industrial park to the Redevelopment Commission in order to build the leased facility. This resolution will have a provision to revert the land back to the city if it is not used for that purpose. Second, the members of the Redevelopment Commission must approve not only the expenditure of funds to build the facility, but also negotiate the lease of the building to the client. Later, EDP's Revolving Loan Fund Committee may be asked to consider a loan request for the client for $250,000, and if approved, will recommend to the Common Council the approval of this loan request. The Common Council will vote to approve or disapprove this loan request. It may also, depending on the final costs involved for the construction of the building, be necessary for the Common Council to approve the short-term lending of funds from one or more city accounts to the Redevelopment Commission until they receive their tax settlement from the county. This borrowing will be required to be repaid in the year that it is borrowed. So the bottom line is this: we have a potential energy company that wants to locate here in Madison with a job projection of 200 jobs by the end of 2015, an average wage of $16 an hour excluding benefits. The client seeks a 40,000 square foot manufacturing facility to be built on 6 acres of the approximately 63-acre facility at the city's shovel-ready site. This would be set up as a lease with option to purchase. The financial package would consist of $3 million in outside grants and tax incentives. The TIF fund would provide the funds for the construction of the building. No bonding in this plan would be needed. I want everyone to keep in mind that this is not a done deal. We're still doing our due diligence and seeking answers to a few of the questions the council and commission have, as they have an important role to play in this process. My goal to proceed is as follows. Schedule a final executive session for next Monday evening, May 21st, with the council and redevelopment commission to go over final information, followed by our regularly scheduled council meeting on Tuesday evening, May 22nd at 5:30. At that time, we will provide updated information, allow for public input, and ask the council to take the first step in the formal process of moving this forward by voting on a resolution that would transfer the 6 acres from the city to the redevelopment commission. Again, keeping in mind that some information, as I'm sure you understand, is still confidential in nature, I'm sure that city council members as well as city hall will try to answer as many questions as possible between now and next Tuesday. That's all I have this evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn, and we will see you next Tuesday evening. Yes, Dick? Okay, motion by Councilman Jones to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Backus. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.